Hey, my goodness, oh my goodness, it's been a while. Hello guys, how are you? I'm Crystal Kiefer with Crystal Kiefer Inspired, and my mission here, you guys haven't seen me in a while. You have not seen my face on a live video, on anything in quite some time, but I wanted to show up today. And for those of you that don't know me, once again, I'm Crystal Kiefer with Crystal Kiefer Inspired, and my mission here is to bring truth, light, and encouragement to as many women as possible, helping them to realize who they are and allow them to tell their story while leaving them ridiculously hopeful for tomorrow. So, hello again. This face has not been on a live video in quite some time, but I felt the nudge recently to kind of dive back in and jump on video and do Real Talk Tuesday again, so here we are. Today's topic is, when you feel a shift in life, what do you do? So one of the reasons why I haven't been on live is because there was a shift in my life. Last year, not even last year, at the end of 2021, around November of 2021, I laid my business down. I laid everything down. And it was kind of scary. It was kind of like, what am I doing? But yet I also knew that it needed to happen. And so I laid it down, and then I didn't feel the nudge or the say-so to pick it back up. So I went through all of 2022 with it kind of laid down. I did some photography sessions, I did paint some, I did show up just a little bit, but there was just massive shift that I knew that something had to change. And so it was scary, it was uncertain, there was just a lot of things that were happening. But in the natural, there's a lot of things being birthed. So sometimes we look at life and we're like, well, something's shifting, something's not right, something's like crazy, something's off, but we don't realize, or we don't count what's actually happening. We get stuck in a place of, well, I don't have that anymore, or I don't have this anymore, or I don't have this, but we don't look at what's actually happening and what we are doing and what the Lord might be doing within us, and actually count that as something that's being done. So what was happening in my life was, there was a lot of shifting in ministry, there was some shifting in growth, there was some shifting in transition, like transitioning from one house to another to come to live in this house. There was such transition happening, and when we're in a season of transition, it can feel rocky, it can feel like nothing's making sense, it can feel off in so many ways. So when you feel that shift, it's easy to want to run, it's easy to want to hide, it's easy to just think in your mind, well, something that I was doing for so long, well, that's just over. Sometimes it is over, but sometimes it just needs to be laid down at the foot of the cross for the Lord to do, and to do what only He can do. And then He gives it back to you, and then He's like, hey, here you go, like, go ahead and pick it back up, go ahead and run, go ahead and do this. And then sometimes it's an internal thing that we have to kind of walk through, where He's healing our hearts, and where He's bringing us and shifting us into gear for where He's called us to. And some of those things that we've been carrying and holding on to for a long time, they've got to be pruned. It's got to like be dropped off of us. Like there's some things that we have to pick up in order to walk into that new level, walk into that new season, walk into that new elevated area that He's leading us to. And it can feel, it's, I see my friend Sarah on here, and I know she kind of knows what I'm talking about. Like, it can feel so alone. It can feel like you just don't know. You just don't know what's happening, what's going on. And, but I just want to encourage you, when you feel that shift happening, just stay in it. Stay in it. Stay focused on the Lord. Decide ahead of time that you're not going to quit. You might be laying things down, but you're not going to quit. You might be feeling like, and sometimes like I always say the enemy shows up in those areas and tries to feed you a bunch of lies and tries to tell you what you're not anymore. He tried to tell me that I don't speak anymore. I don't have a voice. Like nobody listens and all this foolishness. But no, my voice coming out to you guys is encouragement. It lifts you up. It builds you up. It lets you know the truth. It tells you there's power in my voice and actually showing up. And so I'm doing everything that I can in this season to begin to show up again, to begin to jump on live video again, to begin to, whether it's podcasting or speaking, like in actual events, whatever it is that I need to do, I am determined to get back to it. And Sarah says, stay focused on the Lord. Absolutely. Because in those times where it's so uncertain, and if you take your eyes off of him, you would just be lost. And I think I did take my eyes off of him a few times. I tried to, and I would say that when I wake up in the morning, one of my favorite things to do is to sit and have my quiet time with God. And that was shooken up. That was being attacked left and right. Like that area that I loved to sit with my Father kept being attacked so many times. I would go sit down, I would fall asleep. I would go sit down and I would like go get distracted and do something else. I would sit down and then somebody else in the house would wake up and turn the TV on or whatever. Like it was crazy. But you have to stay focused on God and have to stay in it. There's stretching with the staying in it. There's tension in the staying in it. There's uncertainty in the staying in it. But if you get out of it and you don't stay in the transition, one of my mentors, not necessarily a mentor, but a lady that I follow, she's an amazing, amazing woman. She said, allow the transition to do what the transition came to do. And I was like, that's very profound. Allow the transition to do what it came to do. So many times we're in that transition and we just ready to tap out, we just ready to pull out, we just ready to like get out of it. And it never gets a chance to do what it came to do. It never gets a chance to do what it came to do. And so I just want to encourage you guys today when there is a shift in your life, begin to sit with God. It's okay to lay things down. It's okay. But when you, like Sarah said earlier, when you focus on God, he will tell you if the season for that thing is over, or he would tell you when, it's just time to just lay it down for right now. Just lay it down for right now. Like I never heard him say, the business is over, it's done, leave it, drop it, that's it. And so I kept wondering, okay, do I pick it up now? Do I leave it? What do I do? And I kept being overwhelmed in my mind on what to do next. But I did a few things here and there, but I just kind of laid it down. And I was steady, waiting for an answer, waiting for him to tell me. But in the midst of birthing all these different things, okay, when you think about birthing, think about, we're women here, right? So when you're birthing, sometimes all you can do in that birthing period is to exhale. It's so painful. You don't focus on anything else except exhaling. And that's what I had to do. I had to exhale into the Lord. And when things got tight and it felt really tense and intense, I just had to exhale. Exhale into the Lord. Exhale into the Lord. And when I didn't know what to do next, I would just exhale. And when a woman is giving birth, I know I didn't do a natural birth because I tried, but I had to go into a C-section. But there's these pains, there's this tension in the birthing canal where a baby's about to come through, right? And there is such uncertainty of what's going to happen next, right? But you don't leave the room when you're birthing and you're having a baby. You can't leave the room. You have to stay in it. You stay in that tension. You stay in it all. And so I just felt led to share that today. Like whenever there's a shift in your life and you don't know what to do next, just stay, just sit and stay in it. Sit and stay in it. There was like a lot of times people want to like go from the place where they are to the finish line. But in the middle of all that is the place where you gain endurance, the place where you learn a little bit more about what you're about and how you handle certain things. So for me, like I just signed up for, out of the blue, I just signed up for a triathlon. Y'all, I can't even swim right. I can swim okay, but I have a fear of deep water. I don't like swimming in dark water, and so that's that. So I signed up for this race, and I'm going to do it in September. But a lot of times we want to get from the starting position to the finish line, and we forget all of that process that's in the middle. I've got to get conditioned again. This heart of mine hasn't kept up with running, so I've lost a lot of endurance. So I've got to start back again right where I am and work my way up to where I'm going. And so there is a process in the middle. It's messy, it's uncertain, it's crazy, it's weird, you know? But if we can stay in it and we can go through that messy parts and we can go through the places where it's tricky and uncertain, we will get to that finish line. We will get to that finish line. But you gotta stay in it. You gotta stay in it. And so I just hope that encourages you guys. Sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place when I'm talking, but after I listen to it, it makes sense. But I usually don't have notes or anything that I go off of. But today I really just had to show up. Whether I had notes, whether I had an idea of what I was talking about, whatever, I had to hit that live button. I had to like make it happen before I like chickened out and like went somewhere else and did something else. But I showed up, so I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back and say I did it again. I'm back on for live Real Talk Tuesday. And if you don't know, Real Talk Tuesday was something that I did every Tuesday at a certain time. I forgot, I think it was like maybe 10 o'clock. I know it's like after 10 now, but I want to start doing it again weekly, every single week. Show up and speak to you guys, encourage you guys, whether it's read a devotional, share parts of my life, like just really have some real talk. Like doing business is not easy. My life is not easy. Walking through the trenches is not easy. And you guys need to know that what somebody else is going through, sometimes you can relate to. And the enemy likes to get into our minds and make us believe that, well, I'm just the only one going through that, and nobody else understands where I'm coming from, and nobody else knows my walk, and nobody else knows anything. But that's a lie. That's a lie to keep you small and to keep you in a box and to keep you thinking that there's nobody else that's going through what you're going through. It's a lie. There are plenty of people that are going through what you're going through. He just wants you to get isolated so that you pull back and not into community to where you actually see other people going through something, so that he can keep you in a box and keep you isolated and begin to feed you all the lies, right? But I just want to encourage you too, like if you begin to think those things, like trash those lies, trash those thoughts and pick up the truth, and then get yourself into community with some other people. Do not sit there and pull back by yourself, because that is the trap. That's the trap. So you guys, be encouraged. When you feel a shift in life, just stay in it. Stay in that place where the tension is just pulling. Stay in that place where you feel tension in your marriage, you feel tension in your business, you feel tension in friendships, you feel tension in career, you feel tension in your children's lives, you feel all that tension all around. Stay in it. it would be tough. You want to tap out, but stay in it. There is something to come out of it. There will be a breakthrough when you stay in it and allow it to do what it was sent to do. You guys, I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing day, and I will be back on, hopefully, next week to say hello and talk to you and share what the Lord puts in my heart. But until then, love y'all and have a great day.